So in the last section, 6-5, we went over percents, fractions, and decimals. Before that, when we were still in school, if you guys remember, we went over proportions and ratios and things like that. We did a little bit more review in 6-4 in those first videos on odds and things were being, reviewing proportional things. Now we're gonna apply what we did in the last section, percents, and apply it to proportions. So being able to find a part of a whole. Okay, so in this first example, like I said, find a part of a whole. We're going to figure out how we're going to find 65% of 245. So we're going to figure out what specific number is equal to 65% of this number. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is write a proportion. So remember, a proportion are two fractions that are equivalent, proportional to each other. Eventually they can, you can turn them into the same fraction with multiplication, division, whatever it is. And this is where we use cross products, which a lot of you loved, right? So first thing we're going to do is write a proportion. So remember how we talked about in the last section how a percent is a ratio with a denominator of 100. So remember, in proportions, we can use ratios in this because they're fractions. We are going to write 65% as a ratio. And again, we do it with 100. So we're going to have 65 over 100. Okay, because we know that the total, the highest percent we can really get, sorry guys, I know there's a little glare. You see that 100? Okay, so we know that the total that we can get is 100%, but we're just dealing with 65, so that's the part of the whole. So our whole. Review some proportions. All right, and then we have 245. Now the question is 245 the part or the whole? Is it going to be the numerator or the denominator? So think about it. We're going to find 65% of 245. So if you thought about it, okay, 245 is going to be our whole, our denominator, okay? We're trying to find what piece of that whole is 65%. All right, so again, our wholes are on the bottom, so we have 245. So 245 is the whole. Now, we're trying to find the part, so our numerator. So what do we always put in place of numbers if we don't know the number? Hopefully we said it right. Variables. I'm going to use the variable n for number. All right, so now we're going to take this proportion and we're going to do what we already know how to do, cross products. All right, so our cross products we have, if I can get this marker open, 100 and n. So we're left with, or what do we get when we multiply that? Hopefully it said 100n. All right, and then we have 65 times 245. Okay, we're representing this with that multiplication with parentheses. All right, again, you can be using your calculators and all that fun stuff. If you need some time, if you don't have a calculator and you need to do it by hand, go ahead and take a second for that. Pause it if you need to. All right, so we already know we have 100n. And when we multiply 65 times 245, you should have gotten 15,925. Pretty big number. All right, so now it's going in again into balancing our equation, but the third step tells you divide each side by 100. Now, why are we doing it by 100? Why are we dividing both sides by 100? Why not another number? Okay, if you recall, if we want to get our variable by itself, we need to divide to cancel out that number. Okay, so when we divide 15,925 by 100, if you want to do this yourself, take a second. Again, with calculator, with paper. I'm going to say that over and over again, guys. Sorry, you're going to get tired of it. All right, so you should have gotten 159.25. So, because n is 159.25, we can say that 65% of 245 is our number we just got, 159.25. All right, now you're probably wondering what's this funky little rectangle thing going on here, okay? This is just to illustrate what's going on. You're going to see this in all of our examples for our notes today, but I am not requiring you to do this for homework. So if it says to draw a model, excuse me guys, If it says to draw a model, I'm not requiring that, okay? So you can skip that part. If you like the model, if it, it illustrates it for you better and you can better understand it, go for it, but I'm not requiring it, okay? So how the model works, okay, are a whole, all right? So the left side we're going to use as percent, the right side is going to be numbers. So at the very top, we're going to have 0%, okay? Nothing, okay? At the very bottom, we have a 100%. So this side, again, is representing percents. If this is part of our whole, what percentage would go here? Okay, do we know the percentage? And the answer is yes, because we're trying to find 65% of it. So this is 65%. And again, you guys have boxes, where this should go on your paper. All right, so that represents 65%. So here on the other side, our digits are, decimals, even though we don't have decimals yet. Okay, we have 0 because this is 0%, so we can't really have anything. And at the bottom, we had our total, which was 245. So our total would be 245 here. Now, so what would be in this box here? What did we represent our missing number with? It would be n. So we're using this to illustrate how to find our missing number, okay? So like I said, these are going to be in your notes. We are going to do it. You are required to fill those in. However, you do not have to do it for homework, for our practice problems. If you want to, you can. All right, so we're going to do practice on the next board. Same as always, pause if you need more time. Well, you are going to need more time because I'm only giving like 3 seconds, okay? So pause it, do it, don't cheat yourself, actually do the work, practice it, okay? So take a couple seconds or a couple minutes. All right, so first one was 25% of 124. So again, first thing we got to do is write our proportion. We know that the denominator for 25% should be 100. So we've got our first fraction, 25 over 100. And 25% of 124. So what you should have inferred from that is 124 is the total. So it's going to be the denominator. We're trying to find what part of the whole is missing. Okay? Again, I'm just going to use n. So when you've multiplied it all out, all right, you should have gotten 31 for your answer. Okay? If you didn't get that, again, go back, look at the notes. If you're still confused, words, send me a message. We'll set up a Zoom, a chat, whatever we need to do, and we can walk through this together, okay? All right, so for the second one, we're going to set up the proportion again, 43% of 230. So again, you should have your fraction, 43 over 100. Of 230 means 230 is our whole, and we are looking for the part, all right? And when you multiply that all out, you should have gotten 98.9, okay? So again, if you have questions, send me a message, make a note, whatever it is, all right? I'll see you in example 2.